Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about simple principles, science-based principles for, scientifically proven fat loss. I want to equip you with knowledge and effective strategies to be able to really sustain your fat loss, to start losing weight, and to be as efficient at fat loss as possible in your menopausal journey. And we're also going to talk about common questions and problems that my clients have. I get emails every week asking typical questions. I want to streamline those answers for you so that you have more information and more knowledge to base your strategy on. Because when you have the understanding and you feel confident, it's going to make this process much easier. I realize that you're in a menopausal body. Your hormones are not optimized and you're having trouble. Maybe you're gaining weight every week and you're just not sure where to turn, how to manage being in a body that you don't understand. So we know how important that eating, what you're eating, when you're eating, and how much you're eating is going to make, how important that is to your fat loss strategy. Obviously, there are habits, there are beliefs that you have about certain foods, whether you're eating animal-based primarily, whether you're eating paleo primarily, whether you're vegetarian. There's so many different ways to go about it, but understanding that what you eat, when you eat it, and how much you're eating is quintessential and essential to your success. It is about sustainability, it's about being consistent, and there's also an element of surprise. I mean, your body likes to be kept guessing, so that intermittent fasting, the food timing, and those things are key to your metabolic fat loss process. So let's get right down to it. All right, the number one important factor in your success is how much are you eating? Are you eating enough? Are you consistently eating? And when I say, are you eating enough? I'll say, yes, eating less is important. One of the first and basic principles of fat loss is eat less. Okay, I have to qualify this because so many of you, and I see it unfortunately way too often, is that you have been a chronic dieter. Eating less has maybe slowed a metabolism that you've slowed your metabolism to your detriment. When I say eat less, I need to qualifying the statement eat less. Well, that's interesting because if we look at statistics and studies that I've combed through, the statistics say that most people underreport their intake. Oh man, this is a very interesting topic. Yes, studies say that most people, even dietitians and nutritionists, underreport their daily intake by either between 5 and 40%. And appreciating the data when we do have the real information of your actual intake to correlate it between your actual energy expenditures, well, there's a lot of discrepancy there. Many times I will be talking to a client and they'll give me their daily input, and it'll be random. It'll say a handful of this or 3 ounces of that, but is it really, boiling down to that amount? And are you getting that much nutrition? Are you getting that many calories? Are your carbohydrates and your protein grams, correct? So there's a lot of discrepancy in the actual reporting of the totals that your intake is. When we are cognizant of this, appreciate that one woman's handful, the size of your hand, or your tablespoon measurement of that peanut butter, there's a lot of wiggle room there. It can be up to 400 calories off. And if your heaping tablespoon of peanut butter is significantly larger than the actual tablespoon of peanut butter, then we need to be really aware of that mistake. These are data points that are quite telling because when the reports that I'm looking at measured or provided measurements and or intake, say they had a study of 20 women and they were given exact amounts of their meals, and they followed that for 2 weeks. Well, those women lost significant weight versus the 20 women that were given a meal plan with definite amounts, how many ounces of protein and how many ounces of this and that. Well, they were significantly higher in caloric intake than those in the study that those women were provided all of the food. All right, so this is a real wake-up call for us if we're not successful at fat loss. Obviously, it's something to consider. It's something that makes us crazy. The tracking. I mean, I hear that. It triggers me. I can't track my food. It's too much work. But if you're struggling with fat loss and you're not having any success at all, and you haven't tracked your macronutrients, not in a way that's going to make you crazy, but in a way that is actual data, give it a try. Take 2 weeks and write down what you're eating. Obviously, we're going to be stressing high protein, lower carbohydrates, and a good amount of fat. Your daily intake should be known. And if we haven't worked together, I've got a video on macronutrient, how to calculate your macros. Go to that video and take a look. You can go to a basic macronutrient calculator. You can type in your size, how tall you are, how much you weigh, and what your daily activity is, and your age, and it'll spit out for you a macronutrient and caloric energy need calculation so that you can follow that and make sure that you're getting what your body needs to maintain muscle mass and lose fat. It's easy to know. I just Googled and popped up a macronutrient calculator. I put in a 60-year-old woman, 5'5", 165 pounds, and her general needs for protein are, let me look here, 118 grams a day. She also needs to maintain that 165 pound frame. She will want to eat about 155 carbohydrates a day I don't know anyone who is 5'5" and 165 pounds wanting to maintain their weight. We're always wanting to lose fat. So I would significantly lower that number for a lot of reasons. But the total calorie needs for that woman are about 2,000 calories a day. So let's back up and check what you're actually doing in your day-to-day. For the most part, I want to know if you even know that number. Are you tracking? Are you understanding how important it is to make sure that you have your protein on board? These are things that are essential in your daily life to maintain your body the way it should be maintained, okay? To be able to lose fat. Is it important to get all weirded out about doing the math? No. Just jot down what you're eating, take a look at the daily intake, and decide whether you're going to be making changes or not. This is step number 1. It's essential for you to know what you're eating, to not willy-nilly just, grab this and that thinking this is good enough. If you want to make changes, if you want to have lasting fat loss, then it's time to do the work. Dig in and understand exactly the mechanism that's keeping you where you are. So we need to know daily intake. How much are you eating? Then we need to then appreciate that it's important for the body as far as meal timing goes so that the processing can happen the way that nature intended it. There is never a time that we were grazing all day long. Okay, maybe in the summer months, in ancestral times when the fruit was ripe and we took down an animal and food was very abundant, then we would be eating larger quantities throughout the day and maybe even bulking up. I don't know, but think of what we're doing today. It is a continuous stream of eating, and we're not designed that way. So our meal timing, whether you do 3 meals a day or you are into more of an intermittent fast situation where we're doing 2 meals a day, depending on what your energy needs are, what your fat loss needs are, and how you feel best, we will just determine how you should be eating on the daily. So I'm going to recap real quick. Your daily intake is essential. Understanding your macronutrient needs and your caloric needs and how that kind of boils down into what you should be eating. Then we determine how often you should be eating. So once you understand if you need 80 to 100 grams of protein in a 24-hour period, and you want to eat 2 meals that day, then basically we're going to have 2 feeding windows, right? And you're going to try, my favorite word, try, you're going to get 50 grams of protein in that first feeding window. And whether that means egg scramble with some sausage and maybe a little bit of cheese on that and maybe a couple veggies, and then later in that feeding window you're going to have some protein pudding, maybe you have some protein powder in some almond milk, I don't know, but you're going to then basically get that 50 grams of protein and however many carbs you choose in that feeding window, and you're done eating for that period of time. And then you fast until your next feeding window opens. This is a way to ensure that your body has the nutrition it needs so that you're not wasting muscle you're eliciting, great fat loss potential. You have the energy that your body requires to do all the things like beat your heart and use your thyroid and build hormones and, have energy so you can sleep well and, be active during the day. Those are essential pieces to this fat loss puzzle. We want to then make sure that you're very aware of portion sizes, of, not underreporting or overreporting your daily intake, because it happens. Let's take, for example, if you're not counting the ketchup that you're eating with your burger patties. Say you're going to get your high protein in and you're doing low carb, but you have 4 tablespoons of, regular ketchup with your meal. Think of all the sugar that you're eating. Think of the extra calories. And I don't like to count calories, but when we're looking at, the condiments of ketchup and ranch and barbecue sauce, and you're not really aware that you need to count that, over the span of a month, you think you're dieting. And nope, you are right up there with, 500 extra calories in a week or 2 weeks or 2 days. I don't know. Think about it. Those things matter. And it's important for you to understand how important it is to make that distinction and really be aware. Decide how that's going to work for you. If you're not losing fat and you've been trying, let's get granular, okay? Let's decide that you're going to know the data inside and out. How much are you actually eating? Are you consistent with that? Are you eating it during the daylight hours? Are you eating late at night? There's too many questions that go unanswered and that we don't want to think about because it's uncomfortable or it just isn't fun, right? Mindful changes, awareness to the details, and consistency are the most important thing to this fat loss equation. I can't tell you how many times once we get very granular, once we have the data in front of us and the awareness is there, that results start to occur. Having fat loss results, having any type of positive response to our action, to our hard-earned efforts, well, that's important, okay? That's going to help with your longevity. It's going to help with that uncomfortableness, the visceral fat that is around your middle. It's going to help your brain. Get real clear on what you're wanting. Why are you watching these videos? Are you really doing and making the effort? Are you understanding how important this is? I want that for you. If you're not successful in where you want to be and you're questioning everything, consider a Jumpstart with me. It's a small investment in your health. We can get so granular, we can get so clear in the steps that you will want to get started on. And then consider a 6-week program. We talk about that in the Jumpstart. Consider working with me long term. Give yourself the gift of investing in yourself and coaching and really being honest with yourself. I've got so many tools. If you're having trouble with cravings and appetite control, we've got the GLP-1 microdosing program. If you're having trouble just understanding what's a macro, we've got that too. This video might be a little bit longer than most because I want to answer a couple questions. In the Jumpstart session, we go over supplementation so that you have more support. We go over intermittent fasting practice, how to get started with that. We go over how you should be exercising. These are simple and effective strategies for you to be incorporating in, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's amazing what happens when you get some good information that makes sense to you, that you can implement today, having just a new sense of awareness and maybe motivation. I had a woman right back after her Jumpstart session, and she's getting started on the 6-week program that I offer. She completed a 24-hour fast because she was actually motivated and super curious to know where her blood sugar was. And it turns out she was actually using the Keto Mojo, which I have a link for and discount code in the drop-down menu. She did a 24-hour fast with her glucometer and was very pleasantly surprised at how stable her glucose was throughout that 24-hour period. Of course, her glucose ramped up when she exercised, which is perfectly normal. That's cortisol. And she was curious why her glucose was higher in the morning, and we can explain all that, but that's normal. It's called the dawn effect. And she also was able to get evidence that her body was actually burning fat because she was in mild ketosis after 24 hours in the fasted state. That tells us so many things. It tells us her metabolism is relatively healthy. It tells us the insulin resistance is not ridiculous. It tells us that she has the ability, with the absence of food, to get into ketosis relatively easy. I mean, that is such great data and information to give yourself, to be aware of, and then it kind of also gives you the benefits of being in fat burning mode, and that's great motivation. A 24-hour fast is a wonderful way to reset your metabolism, to reset your relationship with food. It's extreme for a lot of people, and I wouldn't recommend it right off the bat, but she'd been doing her homework. She'd been eating her high protein, low carbohydrate, but she just wanted more information. She was taking her magnesium. She was using a magnesium supplement that is super broad spectrum by a wonderful company called Bioptimizers. It is 8 forms of magnesium. And there's a lot of reasons why magnesium is essential to a menopausal body. Essential for sleep, to mitigate stress, healthy immune function, maintain a healthy heart, provides the building blocks for strong bones and prevent osteoporosis. Ticks all the boxes. I take 2 every single day. And I'll just put out there that I'll also say that Bioptimizers is an amazing company to formulate really cool supplements. Yes, I do use Fullscript for most of my supplement needs, but Bioptimizers is a standalone company, and I do have a discount code to offer. It's in the drop-down menu. But Masszymes are a digestive enzyme that I use every day as well because of the high quality. When I use the Masszymes for digestive enzymes, It breaks down my food small enough so I get the benefits of all the amino acids in my protein. I experience better digestion and gut function. I enjoy better energy levels because I am digesting much easier. I get better mental clarity and focus and faster muscle recovery. These enzymes and the magnesium breakthrough are two of my go-tos. These are new supplements for me, or basically new brands that I haven't always taken, but I'm impressed by the level of integrity of the company, the formulations that they have on their website, and I'm a big fan. So you might want to check those out and enjoy a 10% discount using my code. I understand how difficult this fat loss problem is, and I know that you might be struggling. I struggled too. Having awareness, having understanding, learning what your body needs. When I learned how it worked for me, game changer. So I want to be there for you. I want to support you. I want to motivate you and just walk alongside you as you experience better. Having the peace of mind to know that you're doing the right thing for your body so that you can be as healthy as you possibly can and enjoy living in your body again, that's everything. Consider doing something new. Consider trusting yourself again and giving something like a Jumpstart a try. Invest in yourself. You won't be sorry, especially if you have been doing it all and you haven't been getting the results. We come from an age that, restriction and suffering was all the rage. And we've done a fair amount in our menopausal years, right? It doesn't have to be that hard. I'd love to hear from you. Stick a comment down in the comment section and let me know. I guess I want you to know that you're not alone. There's many of us that have struggled, are struggling, are not struggling anymore, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. You just need the right recipe. So thanks for being here. I can't say how much I appreciate you. Thank you for using my links. The affiliate links help the channel. I also stand behind every product that I support and use most of them myself. Life is too short to take crappy supplements. And come for the fat loss, stay for the longevity. I've got a lot here for you, and stick with us. We'll go far. All right, I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.